this is a much tougher industry to be in. So I shoot like 50%, I would say, documentaries, and the other 50% is commercial gigs, and there you are exposed to a much bigger competition. And one way of differentiating yourself is using different kind of glass, because basically, everybody's using compact primes, everybody's using photo zooms. One way of getting that different look is to use different glass, especially when you're not involved with the post-production as much anymore as you used to be as a director of photography.
Joe?
Because, they basically don't pay you for the color suite.
Sorry about that. What's your story?
Yeah, well, I think, I'm with Dino on that. I don't rent anything unless a client specifically asks for it, and therefore has the money to do that, because they're looking to me as a one-stop solution. Like, Joe, you have the gear. We know you'll shoot this the right way, whether it's you're going to use your Fuji zoom lens or you're going to use some primes. My clientele is not looking for something. If they are, and that's where I do get into rentals, is when they ask for a specific thing that's probably cost prohibitive for me to own. For instance, like, used to think like a drone was a pain in the butt to have, but now they're so easy to operate. I bought a drone a couple months ago. It's already paid for itself because it's in the truck. When they say, hey, I'd love to have an exterior of this, I could bring the drone out, shoot the thing, and be done with it. Whereas with something like a specific lens or something, you want to have that all kind of figured out in the beginning and make sure that they have the budget to give that to you so you can go rent it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it depends on what kind of work you're doing. So, like, I don't want to keep saying back in the old days, but back in the old days, we had very defined jobs. We're doing a fashion video. It wasn't something that you could there were 14 or 15 people that you needed to do this. It wasn't like, we'd go into an edit room, Joe, and there was the editor, the tape op, the Chiron operator, there were people in the back room. It was, the ADO dude. There were very... You're just laughing.
I think I did all those positions as one person, but I do recall that, yeah.
But there were many people. It wasn't just, I mean, there were times when there was one guy in the edit room, but from the get-go, there were a lot of people. And when we would go on location, there were a lot of people. If we were shooting film, you had a loader and an assistant and a second assistant and a camera operator and whatnot. So we're back to that sort of budget thing where you could get any equipment you wanted. So it wasn't an issue. Nowadays, I think a lot of people, they're like, okay, I bought X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to make it work for everything I do. And I used to say, when I'm jumping out of a Humvee in a jungle, I do not want a red Epic strapped to my back. Somebody's giggling. Who?
That's me. I was thinking about, well, if you remember the Betacams, I mean, they did everything. So you would shoot with a Betacam and you could shoot almost any project. I mean, obviously you wouldn't do anything really, really high end, but that